You know why? Because we're punching up today, right? We've had elected officials before. We've had city council members. We've had leaders of organizations. We've even had a member of Congress or two. But today, I believe we have in the studios at Live from the Black House the next governor of the state of Texas. Just to fill y'all in a little bit, this is home turf for me. But when I showed up, it's like Obama was here, okay? The lobby, there's people, right? So this is a campaign that is running to win. To my right, your left, she's a mother. She's a former union organizer. She's a former school board member for Austin ISD. The next governor of the state of Texas, Gina Hinojosa. Welcome to the Black House.
Great to be with you, Darrell.
Yes. So, very first question, how do you find yourself running for governor?
Yeah, I never meant to do this. And I just try to go and do and not think about it. I think we're in a moment in history where we all feel compelled. We understand the stakes, but compelled to do everything we can do. That's how I feel. I feel like we're at a political crossroads, a historic crossroads in this country. And so I called people. I asked, will you run for governor? I'm a Texas House member, and I was calling, the usual suspects, and nobody would do it.
Wow.
And so I decided I was going to do it. We have to do it. And I knew this is the best year. This is the best chance we have to win. And so in October, I announced. Now, remember, we broke quorum. We went to Chicago in August. We came back in September, had that special session, and Abbott got his maps redrawn just like Trump demanded. And that was, and then in October, I announced. I had not even decided when we were in Chicago that I was doing this, but I just felt like I had to. I just felt called to do it. I felt like we could do this. And in my life, I have taken leaps of faith, and God has always caught me.
There you go.
And so this was a big leap of faith. And I will say God and everybody has caught me, and we're all in this together. And so I've just been really blessed to find people working hard for change and to win in November all over this state where I didn't even know I had friends.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of them.
Yeah.
And we all got a lot of friends. And people see it feels different this time. It feels like people are taking matters into their own hands. They're not waiting to be told what to do. They're just deciding, I'm going to do this, because we got to win. It's too much bad is happening right now. And the only way we change it is if we win.
Absolutely. So I want to go back a little bit because you're currently an elected official. You're in the House of Representatives. How did that campaign come about?
Yeah. So I never meant to run for nothing, right? I've been married now. This must gonna be 27 years I've been married. And before I married my husband, I made him promise to never run for office. I know. So I just didn't want that life, right? I am a lawyer. I had a small practice, civil rights practice, represented people for unemployment discrimination, mostly employment, civil rights issues. And I just wanted that small, like focused life where I could do something good. I felt something proud of, right? So I made him promise never to run for office because we'd like to talk about politics, but I just I want to be behind the scenes. And then they tried to shut down my son's school. And my son's school, Pease Elementary, is my firstborn son. And his school was the oldest continually operating elementary school in the whole state of Texas. The stone's throw from the Capitol. It was established before the state of Texas was established. That's how old this school was. And so when they tried to shut it down and other inner city schools, I just got mad. I had found this Sesame Street school for my son that was just a mix of all kinds of kids, and I loved it. And So I ran for the school board, and it was this whole community movement where people fought back. They were trying to give our inner city schools over to charter schools. And so we just ran and we stopped it. I got elected. We flipped the school board and we saved the schools. None of the schools got shut down. And then I thought I'd be there for a while. But the reason schools are shutting down, one big reason is because there's not enough money for our schools. So then I ran for the Texas House to get more money for our schools. And that's where I've been. And what I see there is there's plenty of money. Money has never been our problem in Texas. It's priorities and it's corruption. Our money goes to fund moneyed special interests. That's where it goes. It doesn't go into our communities. And so you just see that and you see that and you see that. And now it's all I can see. And I think it is the source, that corruption is the source of so many of our problems in the state. It's what you get after 30 years of one party rule. 12 years of Greg Abbott, there's just no accountability. To give you an example, Greg Abbott's given $1 billion in no bid contracts to his donors. $1 billion in no bid contracts to his donors. Every month since 2020, he signs an emergency executive order to waive competitive bidding laws in the state of Texas, and has given $1 billion in no bid contracts to his donors.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I've always found it interesting because the legislature here works different than it does in a lot of other places. It's 6 months every other year.
Right.
And it really seems insulated. It seems like everything happens so fast. And then it's really hard for everyday people who are worried about paying their bills, going to work, this and that, to even keep up with what's going on and how complex it is.
And it's meant to be that way.
Mm.
Right? For instance, there's no way for you to testify remotely, really, for most hearings. Every once in a while, they'll make a special circumstance. They don't make it easy for people to know when a hearing's coming up. They don't give much notice on those things. When there's a bill up that's important to people, we pass in some days over 100 bills a day. The legislators often don't even know what they're voting on, to give an example of how bad it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a corrupt system.
Yeah. It often, I worked one session a long time ago for Dr. Emma Allen.
She's wonderful.
Oh yeah. She's a jewel.
Yes, she is.
And she's going to be replaced by Stacey Childs, who's likely to go into that seat. But even the way the legislature works, like I remember there were days where, like, the way they do first reading and second reading, and they pass these batches of bills
right
at the same time. I don't think the average voter knows, like, this is how laws are passed.
Yeah. And there needs to be more work to connect communities with what's happening there.
Mm-hmm.
I represent where the Capitol is.
Huh.
So the community that I represent is actually pretty engaged. And they don't let me get away with anything, right? They're on me.
So do you get a district office too? Like,
No,
I never thought about
I
that.
don't. Actually, my only office is in the Capitol.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
How did I not know all of this? Okay.
Yeah. But I will say that what I think happens at the legislature is, and this is what I try to tell freshmen coming in, that world is corrupt. Be in it, don't be of it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Be of your community. Remember why you ran, because that culture at the Capitol will suck you in and change you so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I just think politics is broken right now, and status quo is, nobody wants it. And so this is an opportunity in 2026 just to, I think, have a clean slate, fresh start, because nobody wants business as usual.
Absolutely.
I don't want it.
It seems like the sky is falling down. Every other day I wake up and it's like Trump is doing something or Abbott is doing something. It's like they're taking turns. It's like they're the opposite of the Avengers, right?
Yeah, it's like they're the bad guys, the villains. They're the villains in this. Yeah.
So Carisha Rogers, she's co-chair of the Houston Progressive Caucus, And she said, I would like to know how your office can make the Capitol a better place to go and testify without all the scheduling and sign-up games that Republicans play to make testimony so much more difficult. It does seem difficult. It's
It
like,
is. Yeah, it is too difficult. The House creates its own rules. In fact, if you go to my YouTube, one of the highest watched YouTube videos that I have is how to register to testify in a bill. We did a how-to on that, and people were interested. People wanted to see it. But you know, I think what the governor can do is use the bully pulpit to say, this is what's up. This is a priority. This is what this means.
Mhm.
And tell people as things are happening why this matters. There are also just too many bills that are passed. There need to be fewer bills that are passed. Somebody said once, we need to have an unsession. Undo. Like, who wants more? You want more laws?
No.
Right? Who wants more
No.
laws? Right?
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
undo all this stuff. The problem at the legislature is that legislators think that progress is passing a lot of bills, numbers, right? That's not
Mhm.
progress.
So they can go back and say, I passed this thing that doesn't really count for anything. Yeah.
Well, you know, I've been there 10 years, and at the end, my last 2 terms, I decided I was going to dedicate my time to mostly fighting bad bills, and mostly it was the voucher bill that took up a
Mhm.
lot of my time in the last 2 sessions. And we won. In 2023, we beat vouchers, and then they came back last year. Greg Abbott came back last year after taking out the rural Republicans who voted with us, and it passed.
Which Republic? The Rogue ones?
The rural,
Rural. So
Yeah.
rural Republicans weren't for vouchers?
right? Because they don't have private schools in
Really?
their
I never
communities.
thought about that.
They don't even have charter schools, a lot of them,
Huh.
right? So the public school is the biggest employer. It's the only game in town. It's like the community hub. The superintendent is like almost like chair of the Chamber of Commerce,
Mm.
right? It's they love their public schools, and so they were very against vouchers, and they're still mad about it.
Mhm.
I will say. And this is going to be the first election where Greg Abbott's going to have to answer for that, for the vouchers. And I think, and so we've launched Team Texas Public Schools. If you go to teamtexaspublicschools.com, you can get involved in organizing your school community, and we have trainings. And it's a get out the vote effort where we pull down information from the Secretary of State and connect it with your contacts so you can see who from your friends at your school community have voted, who haven't, or just from your family. When your nephew says, when you say, did you vote? And he says, yeah, you could say, oh yeah, look, I see here you have not. Yeah, you
Okay,
could hold your
okay,
people accountable that way.
okay. Speaking of laws that pass, just the other day, July 31st, so I lived in both Michigan and Washington State, where marijuana is legal.
Mhm.
And I remember when I moved back from Detroit, I'm driving around and I see these dispensaries, and I'm like, dispensaries? Like, what do they serve? And so I learned more about like the D9, the D8, Delta 8, Delta 9,
Mhm.
all that stuff. Whether folks are for it or against it, first of all, it grows out of the ground. I don't understand the big deal. But I like seltzers personally.
Mhm.
Okay. And the other day, one of my friends is like, hey, this is the last day that these things are legal. So, and I consider myself politically astute. So I'm like
Right.
online, I'm Googling, and I'm like, what's in my refrigerator? Is it a felony? Like, should I? And I consider myself to be someone who's kind of in the know. So just
Yeah.
imagine,
Yeah.
this is insane.
It is
And then
insane.
I'm like, was there a session? Like, how did this come to be?
Right. There was a session, a bill passed, but the governor vetoed it. And then he passed these regulations.
Can we pause for a minute? So
Yeah.
the bill was going to ban.
The bill was going to ban THC products, and I can't remember the exact ban, but a
Mhm.
lot of products that
Basically.
we just buy
Mhm.
and we have in our cabinets because we
Mhm.
buy at the store,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
gummies to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Right. And so
CBD.
right, CBD,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that he vetoed it. But then he just put some regulations on his own. His agency put regulations in place, and we have the most dysfunctional marijuana market in the country. The regulations don't make sense. People don't know if what they got is legal or illegal or a felony. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It is wrong that people were just able to buy things at the store to help them sleep or whatever, to
Mhm.
help with arthritis,
Mhm.
whatever. And now it's a crime to possess it, and people don't understand.
Yeah.
And so it just goes to show we have a government right now that is not governing. It
Right.
is just doing politics. That's it.
It's sort of, it's just in line with what's happening nationally. So every other day, Trump is putting out some new thing. I remember seeing the day that they were tearing down the East Wing
Yeah.
of the White House. I thought it was AI because
Right.
I do real estate investing, and you can't put a roof on a house without getting a permit. And I'm like,
I know it.
you can do that? Like, and people are like, oh, they're gonna sue it. It's like, but you can't hit stop rewind
Right.
and like put the East Wing
gone.
back. It's gone. And so that was one of the questions, like, how did that even come to be? You were talking a little bit about rural, say that 3 times fast. Rural Republicans. I want to talk about rural Democrats.
Uh-huh.
There are folks in Brazoria County. There are folks, in the outskirts where there are pockets of Democrats.
Right.
They do exist. How is your campaign making sure that those people feel included and part of?
So I'm proud of the campaign we've built. We now have 50 employees. We divided the state up into 7 regions, and we have senior teams, regional campaign manager, regional field director, regional organizing director, regional communications director in each of those different regions, so that we can go not just wide, but deep. So this is like running for president, running for governor of Texas, like running for president. There's a lot of space to cover, a lot of area to cover, and a lot of diversity in our state, right? And so what is resonating with one community might be different from another. And even 7 regions, like, I wish we could have more.
Yeah.
But so that's what we're doing. We are hiring people from those regions and making sure we are doing the outreach. I can't be everywhere because it is a big state. I'm trying to go to as many different places as I can, but it'll never be enough. And so making sure we have people who are part of the community working on our team is important. And we've been so blessed to have great people be part of this team and part of this effort. So in rural, we were just in the Panhandle about 2 weeks ago, and data centers. That's all anybody wants to talk about. People hate the data centers in the Panhandle. And the reason why is because they're coming into these rural areas that are unincorporated. They don't have any zoning regulations. They don't have any power to do much of anything in these rural areas. They don't even have professional firefighters or EMS. They have volunteer firefighters, volunteer EMS, and you have these hyper scaled data centers going in. I asked this one family that showed up to a town hall we did, well, like, now that you have a data center in your community, what do you want? What can we do? And she said, it would be nice if we had a traffic light. Like, they don't even have traffic lights.
Wow.
Right? To give you a sense of how mismatched these data centers in these rural communities are. So I hadn't rolled out a data center policy until going to a community impacted by it, except for the fact that for sure they should pay for themselves. They're owned by the richest men in the world. They can pay for themselves, right? We should not be paying for them.
Yes.
But after I saw it, I thought, this is ridiculous. We need a moratorium until the legislature can meet to put some real protections on people, because they're being taken advantage of right now.
It's the
And
wild,
Greg Abbott,
wild west.
it is. And Greg Abbott invited them all in. He invited the vampires into the house is what he did. And he did it with like the richest tax breaks in the country. So they're all coming. They pay 0 sales tax on electricity, and they consume a bunch of electricity. So they're just gobbling it up.
Wow. I want to shout out some of the people that are fans of yours that are in the comments. Y'all feel free to put your questions, right? If I like your question, I'll ask it. If I don't, I won't, right? This is not a democracy. We live in a
Right, good.
democracy.
Yeah.
but
Blame
this is
Jarrell. Don't blame
not-
me if your question doesn't
right,
get asked.
right. We have Shay Jordan Smith,
Uh-huh.
who is, Shay.
He's
Everybody
great.
knows Shay.
Yes.
He's amazing.
Everybody knows Shay.
Everybody knows Shay. We have Carisha Rogers. We have Roshan. We have Robert Coretta. Diana Martinez Alexander. She wears like really cool glasses.
Yeah.
But y'all feel free to put your questions in. You are in one of my favorite like areas ever, right? So you're in 3rd Ward, Texas. Tops drop, trunks pop, and the front end hops, right? That's a Fat Pat reference. They know, and now you do too. Jalunda Jones is our state representative. Garnett Coleman was before her.
Yes.
We have Senator Boris Miles in the state Senate. We have Christian Menifee in Congress. We have Rodney Ellis as our county commissioner. So it's just like, this is the place to be, right? And one of the reasons why I'm so excited that you came today, I've been doing this series called 100 Black Voices. So I take my camera, take my microphone, and I've gone to the Metro Transit Center. I went to the corner of OST and what is that? Scott. Yeah, Scott and OST to a gas station to talk to folks. And then I went to Herman Park. And one of the things that I found out was there's sort of a disconnect that's happening where a lot of people don't feel that they are being included in the conversation. And I used to look at it personally as like, folks need to pay more attention. But then when you really think about it, people have families, they have kids they're trying to feed. We're working today more than we ever have.
Yes.
It takes more than just it used to be you could get a full-time job and pay your bills, and it's not that anymore. So it's really good that you're doing stuff like this to get out to people. I'll also say I'm hoping that you're using your surrogates in the house, because Jalunda, she's fighting for you. She mentions you, and it really does make a difference when you're talking to groups of folks who aren't as engaged in politics.
Right. And I just had a great meeting with Jolanda. She was telling me about a town hall she did where she was engaging people, asking, what does the Black community need?
Mm-hmm.
And so she gave me the executive summary of that, and we were talking about that. But yes, to the point, I can't be everywhere. And plus, I need people to vouch for me who are trusted members of the community, because I won't get to know people the way they do. And so I've been proud to build relationships in the Texas House. And yes, my colleagues have been tremendous help for me.
Yeah. What is it actually like to be a state representative? Like, we know from the outside what it is looking in, but I want to think about this. For 6 months every other year, it's different for you because everybody else has to leave.
Right.
But you're still there. But what is that like? I mean, you still have really long days.
Yeah. I actually don't know how people do it who don't live there. Go home and have dinner with my family at night, right? When I go home. Right? But to be away from your family for 6 months is a big sacrifice. And then we have a governor who likes to call special sessions over and over for nonsense, right? Mostly redistricting, right? And it's a sacrifice for people to do, right? I honestly don't know how they do it. I have kids. I still have a son at home, and he's going into, in fact, today is his high school orientation. And it would be I don't know how I could do it, actually.
What is it? Do your kids get it? Like, mom's running for governor.
Yeah. I have a son who's 20, and so he's gone. He's left the house. And he's just like living his best life. He just kind of knows what I'm doing, but whatever. Right. And my other son has been so understanding. And I think he just sees me working hard. And I say, like, we're almost done. And he's just been really supportive. I'm the most supportive husband. I couldn't do this without them being like as great as they are. Yeah. And so, no kid asked for this.
Yeah.
But I do it for my kids. I do it because I want them to inherit a world that is better than this. And so I feel like I got to do everything I can do to make that happen.
Yeah. So election day comes, you're elected governor of Texas. And now you take office January, right?
Yeah.
You take office in January. There are a lot of folks, either when it comes to the government or when it comes specifically to the Democratic Party, who thinks that we should do more outreach in areas like this.
Mm-hmm.
And the outreach has to look a little different because, there's some folks in the comments that are fishermen. I'm not a fisherman. Do you go fishing?
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. I've never gone fishing.
Really?
I've never gone fishing. But there's some folks that go fishing, and from what I hear, you use different bait, you catch different fish.
Mm-hmm.
So if we really want to engage, different groups of people, I'm going to specifically say Black people, the Black House,
right?
We have to do it differently, and it has to be like intentional. Right. So how can the governor's office better communicate with communities that haven't felt that they were part of it, including the Black community?
I think we have to be in those communities. And I think especially as governors should be in those communities, not just during election time, not just to meet with the Chamber of Commerce, not just to have a press conference for a ribbon cutting, but to sit down with people and ask what their experiences are. I will tell you, being on the campaign trail is humbling. People share with you stories. I've learned a lot. I've learned that too many people in this state have to give blood as a second job on a weekly basis, 2 to 3 times a week. This is a common thing, actually. And it's not like, it's like people who are working full-time middle-class jobs, like special education teacher, having to give blood, standing in line outside the plasma center before the doors open to get in, to give blood before work starts. That is what is happening in Texas. In Texas, in this state, that is a world economic powerhouse. I don't think anybody trusts government. I don't trust government. You trust government? No, I don't. People don't think government can do anything for them, and I don't blame them. So what I'm proposing is, at this point, we have to instill trust. That's our number one priority. I propose $1,500 to every Texas household, $1,500 money in your pocket. And that comes from what's known as the rainy day fund, taking it down to $10 billion where it's always been. And then this governor, $27 billion, it's overflowing. It's capped. The governor's hoarding it.
Come on in, Quincy. Is there a... Oh, okay. He says, keep going. I don't know. Quincy was standing there. Listen, we have a gubernatorial candidate here. Do we need to move? Do we, but he's faster? Like, keep going. No, we're good. We're good. Okay. He's adjusting the thing. So
that's in response to just what we're hearing on the campaign trail, that everybody could use some money. Right now, people know how to spend it better than government. Nobody trusts government. We got to show government can do something, something to help people.
I'll say it was encouraging for me to see you did your, what is that campaign called, by the way? Because I saw you had the thing with the dollar. It looked like the dollar, and it's money in your pocket. Money in your pocket. And you did an event at the El Dorado Ballroom,
right?
And so, for a third ward boy who grew up in South Park, those are the little things that show, like, okay, Gina Hinojosa like gets it, right? Like where you're doing events, who you're talking to. You say you were just talking to Jolanda. I think those are the types of things that candidates that really want to engage with our community should do. Ruth Kravitz, who runs an organization called Community Voices for Public Ed. Everybody knows Ruth. Ruth is an educator by and by, right? Like, I had called her about something earlier and she was like taking notes. And I'm like, Ruth, you're such a teacher. You're such a teacher. But she says, I know that when you are elected, you will immediately fire Mike Morath and end the takeover and restore public trust in public education. Team Gina all the way. I'm voting for a better life for our kids. That is Ruth.
I think people show up to my rallies because they want to hear me say, day one, I'm going to fire Mike Morath. I think really that is, like, when I don't say it, people are like, what was that thing? Can you say that thing? People want to hear
Yes.
it. And really nobody's been hurt like Houston ISD, like this community when it comes to public schools. What you all have been through is unacceptable. I wish the Biden administration, their Office of Civil Rights, had intervened. They should have intervened, right? I don't have hope that this administration is going to do anything, whether at the state or the federal level. But what's happening is just wrong. There's never the right answer to take power away from parents and community of our schools. Yeah, schools need to be doing better, but empower parents. Don't take that power away, right? And so it's just really sad what's happened. So yes, that is my priority. Fire Mike Morath, give the public schools of Houston back to the people of Houston.
Absolutely. You have Ms. White, who's over at Houston Federation of Teachers. You have Zeph Capo, who's over the Texas AFT. And, you know, teachers are really going through it right now. My brother's a teacher. He's the band director at Elsick High School, the Mighty Ram Band. Go Mighty Ram Band. There's your shout out. But teachers are really going through it. Teaching used to be a profession that people like really aspired to, and they're being disrespected, and their expertise is, you know, not being taken into account. What have you seen with regard to that? And other than firing Mike Morath, what else could be done there?
Yeah. So my agenda is secure the American dream, save Texas schools, put money in your pocket. And that's it. Right. And I know that's not enough. We just got a lot to do. We got to start somewhere. And the Save Texas Schools is important because there can be no American dream without strong public schools. They're the gateway, the opportunity. So my proposal is to wipe clean all the corrupt vendor contracts and use that money to pay our teachers to be amongst the highest paid in the nation. Because we all know what the best thing we can do for a child's education is put a great teacher in the classroom. That doesn't happen under Greg Abbott because billionaires don't get richer by paying teachers their worth. That's why, right? So we need to go back to basics and put that money into the classroom. There's enough money in this state, but schools are shutting down all over the state, over 150 schools. We have over 150 whole school districts operating at 4 days a week because they can't afford to operate at 5 days a week. Isn't that insane? Whole school districts at 4 days a week.
And so then what do the parents do who work 5 days
That's
a
a good question. What do they do? But this is what is happening in this state. People are being left behind in a state that is a world economic powerhouse that is built by the people. And so this election's about taking that power back. And I will say that, yes, Republicans have been in control, but Democrats for too long have not fought against this kind of trickle down way that we do economics in this state, where we invest in these global corporations and think that's going to eventually reach the people, and it never does. That's the economic model in Texas. It is broken. We're paying into a system that is working against us, and that needs to stop.
Roshan asks, what would innovation look like in this seat? Like, what new policy systems or approaches will you bring to this role that previous leaders have not? Because you could really reinvent what the role of the governor of Texas looks like.
Right. And the role of the governor of Texas needs to be to tell people this is what is happening. This is what laws can make things better. When it comes to, look, the reason we pick money in your pocket is because it's the economy stupid, right? Like that's the saying, right? It's all about making sure people have the money that they need to live and thrive. And I think we got to flip on its head the economic model that I just mentioned. And instead of investing in these global corporations to move here, why don't we invest in small businesses? In our small business owners who are right now having to shut their doors. Do you know we have the most bankruptcies of any state? Texas has the most bankruptcies of any state, and it's mostly our small businesses that are struggling. Why aren't we investing in small businesses that are spending their money in the economy, hiring locally, right? And churning money through the local economy. Again, we don't do it because those aren't the big donors, but we need to just flip the script on economic development in this state. And that is something that I'm advocating for, and you will see us roll out policies on that.
Michelle Williams who is the president of the Houston Education
She's wonderful.
Association. She is amazing.
Yes.
She sat right there not too long ago, and she's also running for state representative.
And she's going to win.
She's going to win.
She's going to
She's
win.
going to win.
Yes.
Michelle Williams, you heard it. There's another Michelle. There's another Michelle Williams. Have you ever heard of Destiny's Child?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not that Michelle, it's a different Michelle. I'll throw these little things in there just to keep it kind of going. Diana Martinez Alexander, she says 27-year veteran educator, no raise this year.
God bless her. Thank you for what you do for our kids. Thank you.
Yes. Michelle Williams says we need to stop giving tax abatements for school taxes for corporations. Everyone should pay school taxes. Yes.
I agree. That is out of control. And I think we need to look at doing away with all those corporate giveaways and see about using that money to cut property taxes, because we know property taxes have skyrocketed. And if we're paying into a system that is just boosting global corporations, and what happens is we invest sometimes in these big corporations to come into our communities, and then they put mom and pop shops out of business because they're subsidized and the mom and pop shops are not subsidized, right? It makes no sense. It's backwards, but that is what everybody has become used to in this state, at least policymakers and electeds. And we just have to call it out for, look, this is a broken system. I think the reason Trump won is because he said the system is rigged. And he's right. I mean, the system is rigged. Problem is he's rigged it now for himself.
Yeah.
Right. But we need to not be defending a system that is indefensible.
Speaking of a system that is indefensible. So my first job out of high school, I worked for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
I knew that's where you're going.
Yeah. Oh, let me tell you something. If we had $1 on this show for every time I brought up my time working at the prison. And so my mother was a single mother at the time. Me and my younger brother and I, and she was on unemployment. And so we got a letter in the mail that said, you get this many weeks of federal and this many. Long story short, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Like, it was going to be the end of it. So I take this job, and we did our training in Huntsville. Me and my mom both started at the same time.
Oh, really?
So we went through boot camp because when I told her I wanted to do it.
How old were you?
I was 18.
Wow.
I graduated high school June 15th of 2005. Yes, I turned 40 this year. And then a month later, I was in boot camp signing on the dotted line. She initially was like, absolutely not. You're not with prison. And then she signed up too. And so it was 5 years of my life. My mom did 20. She just retired in 2024.
Congratulations.
With 20 years. But that was the first time that I saw official oppression in the flesh. Most people don't know this, but out of the some 140 units that exist, maybe 5 or 10 of them are air conditioned. So you have people that are treated worse than animals.
Yeah.
And not only the folks that are incarcerated, but the employees too. Because if it is 100 outside, what is it in a metal tin building? So when we think about like really setting, like being number one, a state that is not cruel and unusual to the folks who are serving time. But number two, when people get out, they often they re-enter a world with fewer resources and fewer opportunities than existed before. So how do we address that?
So I had this situation happen where I accidentally learned about this. I had a church in the district I represent has a homeless ministry, and they asked if they could bring the people they serve to my office. I said, sure. So they came, and there was this man sitting this close to me, and he said, I was brought here by the state of Texas. He said, I was incarcerated outside of Texas, and the state brought me to Austin to a halfway house run by a private prison company, CoreCivic. He said, when my time was served, they let me out into the streets. I don't know anybody here. I don't have a way to make a living. I don't have a way to get my medication. You want me to be on my medication because that's why I ended up incarcerated. And now I live on the streets, and that's where a lot of us come from. So it's like, what is this? So I went and I visited. I did a legislative visit to this place. Every muckety muck from the agency was there. It's like I had hit a nerve. And it turns out, yes, they move people all around like objects, not people, to serve their profit motives. Because this is a for-profit company that makes money off of locking up human beings. And so they have no incentive for rehabilitation, right? They make more money if you get reoffend and get put back into the system. That's how they make their money.
Yeah.
So we have this broken system. Again, we are paying into a system that is working against us. It doesn't make us safer. And it's just inhumane, to your point. And so we just have to get these private prison companies out of the system. Again, this is basic.
Yeah.
But we have to start somewhere.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's something that we should all be able to recognize. Like, this doesn't serve anybody but the corporations making money. The same thing is happening, by the way, with the detention centers for the immigrants.
Absolutely.
They're also run by CoreCivic, Geo Group, or two of the big private prison companies that are operating them.
Which is absolutely horrible. There's a thing called TCI, Texas Corrections. I forget what the I stands for. Somebody look it up. TCI. But what they do, a lot of people don't know this, but most Texas prisons have some type of operation that goes on, because the Texas prison system is mostly self-sufficient. So it used to be on Ramsey 3, which is the CT Terrell unit down in Rosharon, they have a canning plant that cans foods that either come from out on the fields that the incarcerated folks go and, you have a whole squad that goes out and does that. But they also can for like Del Monte. Like, it is
so
absolutely, it's disgusting. And I know this because I was the officer assigned, like one of the officers assigned to the canning plant. Or, Central Unit used to have a soap factory, right? On Darrington, they had to change the name of Darrington because somebody did their research and found out it was the Darrington family that owned a plantation that got a bailout when emancipation happened. So the state bought the Darrington unit from the Darrington family and turned it into a prison, but they retread tires on Darrington. So it's like,
right. Yeah. See, we're paying into the system that is just making already rich people richer.
Yes.
And that is the problem with everything in this state, in this country. It is corruption. It is the source of everything that is broken in our system. It is why people have soured on capitalism, because they see crony capitalism. That's all they see now. They don't see the kind of capitalism where, like my grandfather, he built a business just with bootstraps, right? He built a small business, supported a family without a college degree. I don't even think he had a full high school degree, actually, right? And so that's the kind of capitalism that we need to get back to. Not this stuff where it's just government handouts to global corporations. And they're just making billionaires.
Yeah.
And they get more and more and more. And then they lobby to get more.
Yeah. Yeah. On social media, you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram. Are you on Threads?
Yes.
Okay. So Threads is like, to me, it's the new Black Twitter. Like, I didn't get the memo. Nobody told me. Y'all didn't tell me. I get on Threads one day and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Wakanda, right? And
but see, is that right? Or is that just the feed we're getting? I get that same feed and
You
I
get
don't
it?
know. Yeah, but is
maybe
it
it's the
algorithms?
algorithm.
I
But
don't know.
yours is Black too?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we've migrated. We have planted a flag in Threads. And I bring that up because there's a guy's name is Terrence Omar.
Okay.
And he goes by He's So Uppity on Threads. And so he has a question. Ask her to explain in greater detail these executive orders that Greg Abbott has been imposing since the COVID pandemic and how it affects all of us. I'm just learning about these executive orders. Like, this is insane.
It is insane. The reason why I started looking at these executive orders was when they did Operation Lone Star. Because when they did Operation Lone Star, remember, that was where we spent billions of dollars in this supposed border security scheme of Greg Abbott's. It was really just political theater. But part of it was the reason they were able to imprison these immigrants when the state doesn't have authority to enforce federal immigration laws is because Abbott trumped up charges on trespassing. He made them a jailable offense. They're not under the law a jailable offense. And I was like, how does he do this? Wait, how is the governor able to say this crime has a higher penalty when the legislature didn't decide it? So I was like, let me see this executive order. So my staff got me this executive order and I read it and I saw the end. It's like, and waive this law. So I was like, look up what that law is. And it is competitive bidding. And so I look back, it started during COVID. And during COVID, it made sense because remember, if you can, we were all trying to get PPE and like everybody, it was like emergency, get what you can now, right? However you can get it. And so that made sense. But then they just got fat and happy and they started using this authority. Abbott started using this authority just to dole out contracts to who he wanted. And it turns out he's given $1 billion in no bid contracts to his donors. That's not my finding. That's a finding by Public Citizen, which is a nonprofit that did a study within the last year.
That is insane when you really think about it. And it's scary.
Yeah.
I remember reading books, Animal Farm, ... in high school. And it's like we're living in it now. Like it is very uneasy. I talk about my seltzers. Okay. I have been in the refrigerator, like literally, like, I don't know, like, is this a felony offense? I have to like Google it. I Google one day, I look on, ChatGPT or AI to look another way. And I don't know if what I have is or not. And that's not the way government should work.
That's not, it's not. I was talking to a lawyer who does marijuana policy last night. And she said she had clients who tried so carefully to make sure their product fit within the lines of what's allowed. And they did. And law enforcement didn't understand it. They got arrested, spent the night in prison because nobody understands. It is the most convoluted market, this marijuana market in Texas. There's really no leadership and it's a big mess. And innocent people are getting caught in it.
Yvonne Massey Davis.
I know her.
She says, as an Austin resident, I have known Gina Hinojosa for many years. She has been a strong advocate for our families, especially in the Black and brown communities. She's been working in communities for years, elected and non-elected leadership. Gina has a strong, compassionate heart. She's a fierce fighter. Let's elect Gina.
Thank you, Yvonne. That's awesome.
I'm going to do a point of privilege, and I'm going to use another Black thing. I'm going to reach back to Martin. Martin's girlfriend was Gina. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna say, you go, girl. I get to be a little corny. It keeps the algorithm going. But I mean, to that point, it's like we need people who have proven themselves. And so I guess that's why, the wind is at your back and this is really working out for you as you run.
Well, I think that the more we are all courageous, the more we are all courageous. Courage is contagious. And I just see so many acts of it. It makes me more courageous. My courage is passed to others. It's all like we build on each other. When we're all more hopeful, we're all more hopeful. The same thing, right? So creating that positive energy, that insistence for good, that insistence for our rights, right? Yes. Is who we are as Texans. And I want to make sure that we understand, and one of the things I'm doing in Houston this week is announcing the national stakes for this race, because we know that Republicans in Texas are coming back next year to redraw maps because they gutted the Voting Rights Act. The Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act like 4 months ago now. So now there are no rules. So we thought we saw bad gerrymandering before, and nobody experienced that worse than Houston.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, what y'all went through.
You're in the 18th, right?
That's
now.
right.
Yeah.
It's like unconscionable.
Yeah.
So they're coming back next year to redraw maps again. And if they maximize, which they will, we lose 5 Democrats from Congress in the Texas delegation. We're expected to gain another 4 to 5 congressional seats 2 years later with the census. That's what the Brennan Center predicts, because Texas is growing faster than everybody else. We're growing faster than the blue states. When that happens, If we don't flip before then, and this midterm with Trump in the White House is our best chance, that's 10 Democratic seats off the table for the U.S. House. There can be no Democratic control of Congress when that happens. Texas becomes too big. The math no longer works. We need a governor who will veto rig maps, and I will be that governor.
You know, I keep wanting to call you governor, but Representative.
Just wait 3 months.
Yeah, just wait 3 months.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. There's Mel Young who says, speaking of threads, there's a Black woman by the name of Black Girl That Threads that's doing an outrageous amount of campaigning for Gina. It's admirable. Like, you do have a lot of people that are out there stumping for you. There's Erica with Black Girls Who Brunch.
Yes, she's amazing.
There's Angel
Carol.
Yeah, Angel Carol.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of Stevie said Gina's getting blackmatized today. Yes, you're getting baptized. Okay, you're getting baptized. Keith Brown says, please address let's see, keep going. Rob Williams, my mom, Carisha. So I want to know more about you.
Okay.
Look, y'all can't see, but there's somebody over there that everybody knows. That is fighting for her life. Okay, she's sitting over there. But I want to know more about you. So let's go back to before you were running for governor. You're the Democratic nominee for governor of a state. That is huge.
Yeah.
Before you were a state rep, before you were an attorney, before college, what were you like in high school?
So I grew up in Brownsville, Texas, on the border in the Valley. And I got into trouble a lot. I've always had like this kind of rebellious thing about me. My son said to me, Mom, I have a problem with authority. I said, I know where you get it from. Right. It's this, it's the kind of always pushing boundaries, but I was really good at not getting caught too.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I made good grades in school, but I also snuck out of the house and had a good time with my friends. And I grew up in a community, though, where everybody knew who you were and would tell on you too. Right. And so I tell this story because I think it's funny, but we were all Catholic. I grew up Catholic. You know, in the Day of the Ashes with the when Ash Wednesday, when they put the cross on your forehead, we went out to lunch and my best friend, she didn't go to church. So she got ashes from the ashtray and she put, and she told her mom she went to church during lunch. And then somebody who was at church says she was not there. Right. So she got caught. So but it was the kind of community where everybody was poor. This was a Title I community, right? Because it's on the border, but people still looked out for each other. People still achieved, like parents, even if they didn't have a college degree, even if they maybe didn't even finish high school, they were making sure you did your homework. Right. And so it was a great place to grow up, actually.
And that is so wild. Stevie says, Gina is just like me. I should have never made it out alive.
Well, right. You think about the things that the angels who protected you growing up, and it's kind of miraculous.
So when you're not governing, okay, what is on repeat on your playlist these days? And it doesn't have
my playlist. I have the most eclectic playlist.
Okay.
I like everything. I mean, I like I like 90s type. I'm old.
Okay.
Right. So I like 90s music from when I was in high school, when I was in college, and but also we have great radio station in Austin, KUTX, and I always get new music from there. So I still listen to the radio, and I think that Shazam is magic.
You use Shazam?
I love Shazam. Because I listen to the radio.
Okay.
And so I don't even know what to tell you I don't know band names, but I'll hear a song and I'll just catch it. So one of my best friends in the Texas house is Jessica Gonzalez, and she turned me on to Niña Dios. You know her? She's great. So she just released a song I captured it on my Shazam.
Okay. Who are some of your faves in the house?
Oh,
Like who's at your cool kids table?
Christina Morales
Okay.
out of Houston. She's wonderful.
Her district is right over there.
Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Nicole Collier.
Okay.
Sit catty corner.
That was so cool.
Wasn't
the way
that
she
cool?
had the
I know.
the lights in the thing when she was sitting up with
Yes.
during corn break.
Ana Maria Ramos.
Okay.
It's a lot of women. We kind of have each other's backs, and it's a hard place to be.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell freshmen who get there, don't trust anybody.
Ooh.
Don't even trust me.
Oh
like until I earn it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because politics is not a place for trust.
Mhm.
Politics is a place where people have to show you who they are.
Yes.
And so, but when you first join and you think, oh, I'm with these heroes, and it's just too easy to have your heart broken.
When was your moment? Like, I'm really here. Do you remember when that was?
In the
Was
Texas house?
In the Texas house.
I don't actually. I don't. I mean, it was pretty awesome. I never thought I would be there, and it is an awesome honor and responsibility, and I just like all of it. I just was is an honor, really, to represent a community that just puts their trust in you like that. And when you're a house member, it's a more intimate, like personal representation, because you have to run every 2 years. So you're always talking to people. And so to be trusted with that was such an honor. It is such an honor. I'm still there.
And Quincy, we can go ahead and get one of those videos up, but I'm going to ask another question. Going around Texas, I always wonder, you're like one of the really fit candidates. You know what I mean? And I've been eating, there's a place
it's camouflage.
There's a place here called Be Fit Foods. So Be Fit Foods, this is a free ad. Maybe I can get some free meals out of it or something. But I will say, because healthy food always tastes bad. And I know they have a thing like nothing feels as good. No, nothing tastes as good as looking good feels. You haven't had my mama's spaghetti. Okay.
Yeah.
You haven't had a pork chop sandwich from, let me stop. Let me stop. Those people say that. But I will say, what are some of your favorite, like, Texas-esque things that you've run into on the trail so far?
Can I just push back on healthy foods don't taste good? Because Jolanda Jones made her lunch, brought it to the meeting, and it looked really good. It's some salmon, like good, nice piece of salmon, rice. So it looked good.
And she's really fit. I remember.
And she's super fit.
Let me tell you, I was interviewing her at the Sunnyside Multi-Service Center, and I had my microphone, and I went to I was like, can I interview you? She was like, yeah. And I went to hold the microphone up, and my elbow hit her abs. Okay. I was like, whoa. So, but you know, I will say Be Fit Foods, it's Black woman owned. So I think that's kind of like the key. Like, she uses the seasonings that like my mom would use. Like, so it's actually like they have a truffle macaroni and cheese. They have a Mexican lasagna. There are times that I'm like,
really?
Like, these nutritional facts, is this accurate? Because this is just too good to be healthy. But what are some of your faves from restaurants? What's your Whataburger order?
Oh, well, actually, you know what I have every morning? It's so bad. I'm addicted to just their unsweet tea. Like, I had a gallon of it this morning on my way from Austin to here. I love their unsweet tea. It just makes my day better. And I've been addicted to that. But we just eat whatever there is. On the campaign trail, it's hard. What I try to do, because I try to stay fit because I'm too old to not, be worried about those things. And so I just try to eat a good lunch and try to just snack for dinner. That's what I do, really. Yeah. I mean, it's not fun. I try not to drink too much on the campaign trail.
What is your drink of choice when you have a cocktail? What do you?
Well, I do like a margarita, but I don't like anything sweet in it. I just like a really sour margarita.
Okay. I'm a ranch water guy, which is basically a margarita without the sweetener. So love a good ranch water. So we're gonna put up one of those. Things. Robert says Belicia Pierce, Be Fit Foods, just got a shout out with the governor. Yes, we're gonna put up one of those things, and when they put them up, I think it's gonna play over there, but you're gonna want to look right there for the clips. Shout out to everybody who is still in here. Put your questions, put your thoughts in. You never know what's gonna make it on. Amorous says, "I love Shazam too, but I don't know the name of a song." Deja is laughing as well. That is great. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Drew, I'm just a mom. Like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
I still use Shazam and probably lots of other things. My phone, where's my phone? My staff's like, how you still use that phone?
Wait, what you got?
I have the mini. I have small hands.
Oh,
So
you have the iPhone mini.
I think it's like the 14 mini.
Oh my gosh, it's the mini.
Yeah. And so my staff's always like, come on.
You have that little phone. Wow, that is so wild. We're gonna see if we can get one of those questions. So I wanted to open this up because you're live at the Black House, and I'm like, in order to really feel this, there's some other people who I wanted you to hear from. We're gonna drop one of those things in, unless Quincy, maybe he stepped out. Okay. He's like, no. Yes. I guess I could ask you this while there we go. Okay. So there's the question. And you're going to look right there.
Okay.
Candidate Gina for governor. What does people over politics mean to you? How will you ensure community needs, not political pressure or party agendas, drive your decisions?
I think right now we're at a time where nobody wants politics as usual. And that's why I proposed this $1,500 money in your pocket. When I proposed it, I knew there are going to be a lot of responsible Democrats who are going to say, nah, we could do better things with that money. And I'm going to say, yeah, but it doesn't happen. And nobody trusts the government to do it. And yeah, I can think of all these things we can do. But really what we can do right now, and the thing that I have yet to get any Republican legislator to say they're against, is just give that money back to the people, $1,500. No Republican legislator has said, I am against sending my constituents $1,500, right? So it is not something that is like a typical Democratic position, but it's something that was important to me. I'll say my position on data centers. I waited. I don't know that the Democratic Party has a position on data centers. The Democratic Party actually, and let me say this, there's a separate thing between the Democratic platform and what a lot of the elected Democrats do, right? And so if you think about the Democratic Party as the electeds and kind of the establishment, they're not really weighing in on data centers all that much. There was actually a letter, though, that went out from the Senate that was a moratorium, Democrats in the Senate today. But it took me going out, talking to people, and just finding out, like, what is happening. And so when that happened, I decided we need to have a moratorium until session. Now, there are some Democratic supporters who don't support that. And I respect it because data centers are jobs, right? And so we have to respect that people make a living off of them, off of building them. There's good money in building it for trades. And so, but after seeing what I saw, I just had to say what I felt. And what I felt is that we can have both jobs and we can have respect for communities. And those things have to coexist. And so I called for moratorium until we can have some protections for community. And the legislature has to meet to make that happen. So that's another example. So at this point, I'm just not running to be I'm not trying to be Democratic Party platform or trying to appeal to Republicans. I'm just trying to be about what government needs to do to be responsive to people. That's what I'm trying to be about, because I just think that politics is broken right now and nobody wants more of the same. I'm not running to be the governor for Democrats. I'm running to be the governor for the people of Texas.
Awesome. We're going to put the next one up.
Candidate Hinojosa, Texas has more than 8 million people that have felony records, and many of those people are nonviolent. These records are causing individuals not to be able to find housing, employment, and obtain licenses so that they can be productive citizens. I'd like to know, underneath your leadership, how would you be able to straighten out a situation like that? And with our prison conditions, everybody knows it's extremely hot out there. temperatures go up into the triple digits. How would you be able to ensure that individuals are not having to suffer from heat exhaustion while doing their sentences? Thank you.
I think it's basic humanity that we have air conditioning in our prisons. That should not even be an issue. I have voted for that. I do not understand why it doesn't happen. There are no good excuses for why that doesn't happen. It becomes something that we have to do just because it's the humane thing to do as a state. And there is bipartisan support for it. I think it gets blocked in the Senate, but I'm not exactly sure. But it's wrong and it needs to stop. We also just don't have reintegration programs in this state. And the result is that people aren't given a chance and they often reoffend because they don't have any. It's hard. It's hard for them to make it. And so they reoffend, and that makes us less safe, not more safe. We need reintegration programs so that people have a way to get back into community and they're not punished for the rest of their lives. And really, expungement shouldn't be a matter of who can afford to pay, right? If expungement is the right way forward, it should be something that is automatic in the system, not about having to pay the fees and the fines and the lawyers to make it happen. We just have ways we can make it so that we're not getting people mixed up in the criminal justice system because the system is not working. These THC laws and hemp laws are a prime example of that. People are trying to do right and then accidentally breaking law is unacceptable. Things should be against the law because they are dangerous for people, and that's it. And there should be bright lines about what those things are.
Absolutely. There's a guy that I know who served time, and he gets out. He's a barber. He has both parole and probation, right? He ends up slipping up and getting behind on child support. The state takes his barber license. So,
Right.
how does, as someone who's re-entering society, how do we expect him to climb up? What can he do?
Right.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
None.
I passed a bill in the legislature to have a text reminder program for when you have a court date.
Mm-hmm.
And because people were not showing up for their court dates because they'd forget or
Mm-hmm.
they misremembered when it was. And then that itself becomes a crime, right? Then they get, so like, that's not why we should be locking people up.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are irresponsible.
Yes.
Right? Like
Yeah.
that should not be a crime.
Yeah.
And so we need a system that is not locking people up for being irresponsible. So I was proud to pass this bill, and it's subsequently been funded. And so now it's working in the state.
Absolutely. I think about people like Christian Menifee, who nobody knew what the Harris County Attorney's Office was. Nobody knew, right? Everybody thought it was the DA's office. And then he gets in and he actually wields that office as a way for the people. One of the things that they did at the county level, they got rid of the box. What are some things that the state could do to make things more accessible for people who just happen to have a record, quote unquote?
Yeah. Well, things the state can do is to look to see how do we, and I will say this, one of the things that you have a DA here who's really thinking forward about how we get people back into society who are incarcerated. And a lot of times there are mental health issues involved and or addiction issues. And so we know that we can set people on the right path when we get people the help that they need. And having a reintegration system that is about that, making sure we're getting the people the help that they need. And then having a way where you can vouch for these people to say, look, this person has gotten the help they need and they would make a good employee is something. It's just like basic stuff that we could be doing that we're not doing right now because nobody seems to care. Nobody's really making money off of it.
Absolutely.
That's why it's not happening.
We did the first jail-based voting initiative in Texas called Project Orange, where we went to the Harris County Jail and we registered eligible voters. To date, we've registered over 8,000 voters. that's since 2017 when we first started the program. And about our third year of doing it, there was an organization called Project ID. And they were like, when you go around, find out of the folks who you talk to if they need ID. And I was thinking to myself, who needs ID? Nobody needs
Right.
ID. 30%
Wow.
of the folks that we talked to needed ID. So for a while, my nonprofit, Houston Justice, we teamed up with Korean Recovery Services, and we had volunteer caseworkers who would help folks through the process of getting their ID. If you don't have the $6 that it takes to do this or the $20 that it takes to do that, it is really convoluted. And for some reason in the state of Texas, it's even more difficult for people to get this plastic, thing that allows you to get housing, to get resources to be able to identify yourself.
To vote. Yeah. It seems like it's intentional, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mhm.
mean, I get calls to my office about, I can't get an appointment to get a driver's license, right? Like that's how broken the system is right now. DPS, we give DPS so much money in this state. By the way, I didn't vote for that budget. I did not vote for the last budget in the state of Texas. It did not work for the people of Texas. It had $1 billion for vouchers. That was like already like no go for me. But we give so much money to DPS and we can't even get driver's license appointments. Like the basics to happen. So these it does feel intentional.
Yeah. Let's put the next one up, Quincy.
Hi, Jada. My question is regarding funding public education. Since vouchers passed, is there an opportunity to reverse that decision and pull vouchers out of the legislative funding process? Or is that stuck and now we just need to work towards funding public schools? If it is stuck or permanent, is there a way to add a requirement that they fulfill the same graduation requirements that public schools have to? Meaning they have to take the same state exams, they have to pass the same core classes, or they cannot receive vouchers at those public schools. Thank you.
So like I could talk a whole show on just this issue. Let me say that we just found out this week who got these vouchers, because in the past you might have seen stories about vouchers, but that was just like who got the coupon. It's almost like getting a manufacturer's coupon and you don't know which supermarket's going to take it, and most won't.
Yeah.
Right? The hardest part is to get into the private school, and so we don't know which people got in. So this week they just released a report on it. We still don't know how many of those kids were in public school, but what's real interesting is most of the kids are for pre-K. And you hear a lot on the campaign trail that people need help with childcare. That is too expensive. So what I think that is saying is that people are having a hard time. They are struggling finding spots in affordable pre-K, which is a different thing than vouchers, right? And so I'm curious, we need to take some time to dig through that. But maybe that's what should happen there, that program should be opened up into, we give the public schools, let them take the voucher to fund pre-K in their public schools, right? If the issue is affordable pre-K, then let's address that. And so we're looking at that right now. But about the testing, I don't think anybody should take that STAR test. That STAR test is rigged. It is made by the state. The TEA commissioner makes that test. After the kids take it, then he decides what passing is. They look at the test and they say, oh, we're going to put passing here. They look to see how you performed, and then they decide what passing is. And it always gets better on an election year, by the way, because it just always historically has. We don't have an objective measure of our kids. We want accountability. This is not that. So I support a bill, and most of us in the House did, to have the test be an objective outside test that really measures growth. Where did kids start? Where does a kid end up? We want to see growth, right? Because that's what we have control over in the classroom. And we don't have that right now. And I did an amendment to the voucher to try to make us take the same test, so that my thought was, if you make private schools give the STAR test or something else. They're going to choose something else, and then our public schools would get to use something else too. That amendment failed, unfortunately, because Greg Abbott lobbied against it in the Texas House. But that is the will of most people. Nobody wants the STAR test. And I think once we get rid of Greg Abbott, we can get rid of it in a real way. They just tripled it, by the way, more than tripled it, so that the year after next, kids are going to have to take that test 4 times a year. Nobody wants more testing.
So Quincy, it looks like, so this is still going. Quincy, did we end the live and it's going to come back on? It's still going? Okay. All right. So there's a lot going on up and down the ballot. You're at the top of the ticket. There's federal races that are going on, but I would argue that to truly flip Texas blue, to truly have the impact, it is changing things at the legislature. You're running for governor. There's Vicki Goodwin running for lieutenant governor. How's it feeling, and how are we going to turn Texas blue? How are we going to flip this thing?
This is our best chance in 25 years to win. And it's not because people are like, yay, Democrats. It's because people are like, whatever this is, I don't want it. Like, right.
Yes.
So we can't blow it.
Mm-hmm.
We have to put forward a vision for the future of Texas that people can believe in. And I think the opportunity comes that everything is so broken that people are willing to consider something different. And at this point, 99% of us are in the same boat. Most of us find it harder to make it than it was 10, 12 years ago before Greg Abbott was governor, right? One thing we got going for us in a big way is that everybody knows who our governor is because he's been there so damn long.
Yes.
Do you know this man has been in statewide office since I graduated? He'd been there 30 years. So everybody knows who Greg Abbott is. His name ID is like at 97%, right? Which is good because people know they're struggling and they know who to blame. And so that creates this opportunity. So my job is to reach as many people as quickly as possible. We now have less than 90 days before early voting starts to tell people who I am, what I'm about. I'm running to secure the American dream. That was what I was told as a little girl to believe in this country. You do it by saving Texas schools and putting money in your pocket, because you can't have the American dream without strong public schools. And if you can't afford to live and thrive in this state, the dream is out of reach. That's it. That it is a short agenda. It is plain, because the plan should be as plain as the promise. But it is what we used to be all about.
Yes.
Once upon a time, we used to say that's who we were. You don't even hear people say it anymore
Yes.
because they don't believe it at all. And we need to fight for it. We can have it, but we got to fight for it.
Absolutely. There are also a lot of local races that are very exciting.
Yes.
We have Dr. Letitia Plummer.
Yes.
Who is just so, oh my gosh, like she's going to be the next Harris County judge.
Yes, she is.
She's going to be the next Harris County judge. We have Dexter McCoy.
Yeah.
Down in Fort Bend County. That is, wow.
Rising star.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have some 5 minutes or so left. Any closing words?
Well, we can flip this whole state with just Harris County. And I know y'all know that, because I know y'all know your strength and your power
it's
and
the
your
kingdom
worth.
The kingdom of Harris.
Right. That's right. It's like when national reporters ask me, well, like, what about like the rest of the country? I'm like, somewhere else matters.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
But yeah, so I'll be here a lot. But this community has the power to make this change happen. And again, it's our best chance in 25 years. And it is so broken. It gives us a chance to just remake this state in the way that we know it should work. I said before, right? Let's be not in the legislature. Let's be in the legislature, not of it. Let's make this state be what we know it can be, right? Let's not be resolved to what it is. Let's make sure that we use our power, because this might be our last best chance to make real changes for our communities and for our families. And there's a lot on the line. And so I'm not running on just Greg Abbott's negative record, though there's a lot to run on there.
Yeah.
But I'm running on a vision for something positive in the future where we center people in a way that government in this state has not centered people. But we pay for it. We should get back from it. And right now we're not. So that's why I'm running. And so I just humbly ask your viewers to vote for me, to support me. I need you in this with me in a way you've never been in anything, because this is a heavy lift. I mean, I went into this knowing that it was an uphill battle, but Fox News put out a poll last week showing we're 1 point down. So it is a fight we can win, but it's not going to be easy. And we just got to give it everything we got for the next 3 months.
Question. There are a lot of folks who want to help. So there are a lot of folks clicking share on a lot of your
Yeah.
content. There are a lot of folks doing that. What are other ways that John and Jane Q Public can, or let me flip that. Did I say John and Jane Q Public? We in third ward. How can Keisha and Rashad and them
Yeah.
help you become the next governor?
So, yeah. So, well, if you go to GinaForTexas.com, you can sign up to volunteer. You can go through trainings. But my big lift is to tell people who I am and what I'm about. I'm a House member, so I was not known statewide when I decided to do this. We've raised my name ID, but the best way to do that is for you to tell your friends, this is who Gina is, this is what she's about, and just in your circle of influence, spread my name and what I'm running on, and make sure your people are registered to vote. That app helps you say, oh yeah, my nephew, my cousin, my brother, they're registered and they voted. So if you go to teamtexaspublicschools.com, you can sign up to be part of that effort. But yeah, I just need help spreading the word. And so those people who are on Threads, who are like lifting me up, God bless you. Really, God bless you. And I just ask you, don't wait to be asked. Please do everything you know. Like, we all have our special gifts. And so we all can do something different. You're doing this podcast that helps me a lot, right? But we all have our different gifts and talents and ways that we can help. And we all know better than I do how you can help me. But whatever you can do to spread the word, I'd appreciate.
That is amazing. One of my favorite city council members, Tiffany Thomas, out there in A-Leaf, she says the West Side is the best side. She talks about when she was running, there was this third currency that she talks about, which was the fact that she didn't raise the most money, but people were so enthusiastic about her election and about her chances and about her as a person that caused people to volunteer to be at the polling places and to volunteer to do things. And that's sort of what we're seeing with you. And I'm looking through my crystal ball, and I know that the closer that we get to election day, people start paying attention. And that's when there's really this huge uptick. You're an exciting candidate. You are personable. You know, a lot of candidates, they seem like AI, you know, they seem like a robot. They seem like, you know, but you're human. And I think that is really going to resonate.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I saw somebody posted, Gina's kind of messy and but in the best of ways. I was like, I feel seen.
I love it.
Yeah. Someone else was like, people want authenticity. I was like, I try not to be so authentic. I can't help it.
Yes, no, that is so good. And so to you, to your husband, and to your children, and the rest of your family, thank you for making this huge sacrifice, because, you know, I've seen what a state rep campaign looks like, or what a congressional campaign, but to run statewide is a huge thing. So thank you for taking up that call, putting the hat on, and making sacrifices that we don't even get to hear or see.
Well, it's an honor to be able to do it. It really is.
Yes. To this staff,
an
amazing. Let me tell you that team member right there. She is golden right there. That's your high joker.
We've been blessed. We really have been blessed.
It's your ace of spades. This one too. No offense to you, man. I don't, you know, I don't know you, but maybe after this, you win this election, we can have something to talk about. And to those of y'all that are watching, we really can make huge change. I don't know about y'all, but it feels like the sky is literally falling. You got Trump and them doing their thing. You have Abbott doing his thing. You have Dan Patrick. It's like, I don't know. I felt like I saw Spider-Man over the weekend. And it's just like, it is getting to be like it's like a Tyler Perry movie where it seems like a little put on, like it's a little extra.
Yeah.
That's what it's feeling like. And we've done this before. We did it in 2008 with Obama. We did it again in 2012. And we've gotten so close so many times before. I really think that we can do this, but it's going to really take us having these conversations, educating each other about what it is, making sure that the people around you know that this race actually happens. If you are pissed off at what's going on at HISD or now Beaumont, and then ... if we don't elect Gina, right?
Mhm.
If you really want to make a change, go elect Gina Hinojosa, go elect Letitia Plummer, go elect Nathan Johnson, go elect Vicky Goodwin, ... These are very good candidates, and we really have a chance, y'all. We really have a chance. So thank y'all for watching. This has been amazing. I'm going to send the clips. I don't know. I think I sent to her or to one of these people. You got a really good team. I mean, y'all look really professional. I come in here, wasn't even room, wasn't even space. I was like, oh my gosh, this is how a gubernatorial candidate moves around. And yeah, this is going to be amazing. And I'll do anything that I can because you're an exciting candidate. You're authentic. And I think that's going to come through the screen. As we say every evening. Now, I'm telling y'all now, we're not doing anything on Wednesday. We're not doing the show tomorrow. We're not doing a show. This was your show. We got spaghetti at home. There's some spaghetti in there. But as we say every night, every Wednesday night that we meet, it's Tuesday today. But in the words of the great Jerry Springer, take care of yourselves and each other.